What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and this is the Biker Channel, B1, and today we're going to go over what's in my bag. So what we have here is my Camelbak that is tried and true for many years. So the first thing is on my bag is a shitload of mud from various places. The last ride I went on was a night ride, so my helmet is still attached to my bag, and we're just gonna start from there and kind of go through this all and see what I got. So we'll start on the outside. I have a gallon size bag that has inside of it a 27.5 tube. Even though I run tubeless, having a tube is always a good thing. So I carry it in a bag because it's less restrictive, or it takes up less space than it does if it's in a box. Also on this outside pouch, I have these toe warmers, which I purchased from Amazon, a whole box of them, really cheap. And I'll tell you, the reason that I bought these is I went on a ride up in Oregon and it was still warm in California, but when I went up there, I took clothes like I was gonna ride in California, in NorCal, and I was freezing. And one of the dudes on the trail gave me those toe warmers, and it made a world of difference. So for a box, it cost like 30 bucks. I only use them every once in a blue moon. They don't make your feet hot. They just give you enough warmth to keep from freezing. So I just carry those because it's been winter. I probably actually take them out here soon because I don't really need them in the summertime. So breaking into the next part is probably the main compartment, or it is the main compartment here. And I carry these Cliff Shots. They're my new favorite goos to eat. I mentioned them in a few other videos, or at least one other video. And definitely my favorite goo right now. I also have some shot blocks. I usually eat these Cliff Shot blocks whenever I want a little more substance than the goo. For some reason, chewing on something, even though it's probably the same calories, makes me feel like I'm more full, so I do that. So I got a couple of goos in here. Got to carry some for your friends because they never freaking bring their stuff, at least some of them, Moonlight Leatherfoot. The next thing I have is this Crank Brothers tool right here. I ran into this at a bike shop, and I think they're discontinued now. The last time I tried to look to find another one, I was really blown away that they discontinued it. The thing that I loved about this tool, and I actually got rid of some of my old tools because of this, was that it has everything in it that you need. For me, a bike tool has to have a chain tool, which this has. It also has, which was separate for me before, a part for putting on a CO2 canister, which if you are running tubeless, A, will set that beat again, and B, pumping up a tire on the trail sucks, and I carry at least one CO2 because if I can avoid pumping up a tire with that little tiny pump, then that's much better. The other thing that was really appealing about this tool is that it has these Y tools in them that are similar to what I use in the shop. So here in the shop, I have these full-size Y tools that have Allen keys on them, and they're really, really nice to use. So when I saw this on the trail tool, I just thought, oh man, that is awesome. So when you take this out, it has a magnet in the middle that kind of holds it to the piece on the other side. So it actually has two of them. The main Y here, the little bit smaller one, it has a little nut driver on it like that, and then a piece here that I believe fits into some of the other parts, if I remember correctly. The last thing that's on here is this little box, and it has a little piece of styrofoam plastic foam in it, and inside of that are little bits that fit into that little nut driver. So if you need a torque tool for your brake caliper, boom, you got one. And you have the ability to really kind of ratchet it down if you need to. This is not the only tool that I carry because as I mentioned in my last video, I tend to overpack everything because for some reason I want to be prepared just in case I'm camping. So that's a joke, but maybe a little bit of seriousness as well. So in the bag here, I also have a tire patch kit, and this one is from Park, and it has just the small stickers in it that are super easy. You just kind of scratch the tube with the sandpaper, and then you put this tiny little patch that already has the adhesive on it, and bada boom, bada bing, your tire is supposedly patched. I've had some good success with those and some bad success with those. So because of that, not always being successful, but easy, because I want to be changing the tire as fast as possible, I also have a regular patch kit, which is the old traditional kind that, you know, put the rubber cement on there, let it tack up a little bit, stick that on there. What else do I have? I have a set of metal tire levers, and the reason I have these is because if you've broken as many plastic tire levers as I have on the trail, it really pisses you off. So having a good set of metal ones is worth it. These are like aluminum, so they're not super heavy, and they weren't too expensive on Amazon. I carry a lighter, and the reason I carry a lighter is because the camping part is a little bit true. I don't ever want to be stuck. Let's say I bail and I hurt myself really bad down the side of some cliff at night ride. I'm by myself, and the last thing I want to do is fucking freeze to death. So have the means for making a fire for two reasons. A, it keeps you warm, and B, it is a great signal. So there we got that. Got some zip ties. They always are very, very handy. Can't tell you how many times I've used those on the trail. I have this tool for the GoPro that tightens the GoPro bolts. That is very handy, and it also has a bottle opener on. I also have some smaller zip ties. These ones get in just a little bit better than the big ones, so might as well carry a couple more for a few more ounces. Apparently loose zip tie. I have, the other CO2 pump adapter, which apparently I don't need to be carrying anymore. I have a gift from a buddy. This was a signal mirror, so that's once again, you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you need to signal the plane flying over. This will do that. You look through the little hole at the airplane and you wiggle it around, and that's supposed to tell them, hey, I'm down here. Inside of this Ziploc bag is a little bit of toilet paper, because toilet paper is a commodity when you may have to take the trail poop. I have also this contact case, and it's not because I'm changing my contacts out there on the trail, but I have some Advil in that, and you could also put some other kind of little screws or something like that in there if you need to. I just carry Advil in case I had to dole out some pain medication before. This here is a roll of what we called in the Army 100-mile-an-hour tape. What civilians call is just regular old duct tape. So I just took a piece of it off and just rolled it up, because this stuff is good for fixing pretty much anything. I have a bracelet that I made out of paracord that I figured I'd just throw that in there, because the paracord is good for kind of cinching things together. So this bracelet is pretty small, but if you unravel it, it's quite a bit of paracord, and this paracord is usually, it has about a 500-pound test to it, so you can really do quite a bit with it. When I was in the Army, some of the guys that I was in with had rappelled off of the third floor of the building that we lived in down to the basement using this. So it definitely holds what it's supposed to. Then I also have in here another little plastic box, and this little plastic box has some various things in it. Inside of that is a little piece of chain for some different size chains, which I can probably get rid of now that pretty much everything is running in 10 speed, or actually not everything is 10 speed. So I need to go through this, figure out what's 9 speed in here, and probably get rid of it. More than likely I'll just keep it because I do want to help out a friend. These little speed links, I have several speed links in there. Nothing in there. Up here on the top of my bag, there's a little zipper up here. And inside of that, I have my chapstick, because sometimes on the trail my lips get chapped and then that's all I can think about. And if I'm carrying my wallet, I'll usually carry it up in there. Most of the time I don't carry my whole wallet. I just carry like my driver's license and a credit card. So that way if for some reason, I don't know, somebody got hurt and we had to get on an ambulance or something like that, at least I have my credit card to make some purchases. The other thing that I carry in the top part of the pouch here is the extra CO2 for that tire that I was talking about earlier. Don't like to pump the tire, and if it's somewhere new, a lot of times I'll tend to print out a paper map. So this was a paper map from a trail that I had rode a while back that still was up there. Inside the bag, I have I had this little D-ring on there, or small D-ring that you could use for something if you need to. I put it in there in addition to the hook. The hook is just to hold your keys. The D-ring is for maybe you need that for something, I don't know. Inside of my bag, my proper bag, since I was on a night ride, I also had another light. This is a secondary light, just a little 750 night rider, and then I have the mount for the handlebars and the mount for the helmet in there, as well as the charging cable, just in case I forgot to charge it and I'm at work with my bag, I can throw it on the charger. Also have the battery to my regular light that is on top of my helmet. That's this one here. It's the Night Rider 1500, which is a lot of light. I bought this bigger battery that is for a different Night Rider, because this, I can run that one at full blast almost the whole ride, whereas if I use the battery that came with it, it would, I would have to be sparing with how I used my light. Inside of here I have a shock pump, nice high pressure shock pump. This one goes up to 300 PSI, so I believe this is a toe peak shock pump. I also have a specialized pump, and this was the only pump that I had in my bag for a long time. And the reason that I liked this pump was because it's set up so that you can use the, Presta or Schrader, because you can screw that little adapter in there, and that'll do your tires with this part of the pump. However, if you turn this knob or you turn the handle, you get this smaller part of the pump, and it was actually a shock pump too. And that's what I used for a long time, but this thing only goes up to 220 pounds, and my new bike, my Bronson, needed more pressure than that in the shock, so I had to buy a separate pump for it. So I carry that too. And then I also carry a first aid kit. You can pick this up at REI. It's got the basics in it. I think I had bought some extra betadine and some extra things that were inside of the kit and just added more in. Apparently I added a little bit more of tissue and some more Advil. I'm carrying a lot of drugs, I guess. And so carry that all around. I can tell you right now that this first aid kit has been used for helping, out clean up some pretty nasty gashes on the trail. But oddly enough, and one of the things that's really key on here is this moleskin. That helps. I've definitely had to use that before. You can use that when you're getting some bad blisters. This medical tape that's in there, I have never used the medical tape on a person. However, I did use this as rim tape up in Downeyville one time when we were fixing a tire because the guy's rim tape ripped, and that's what was popping his tube. So we wrapped the whole tire with medical tape, or the whole wheel with medical tape on the inside in place of rim tape, and it worked out perfectly. So this first aid kit actually was a bike repair kit as well as a person repair kit. Oh, and what I just realized that I lost was when I broke the Bronson, I was using a Gerber multi-tool, and I don't know what I did with it. I'm gonna have to go back and look through the footage and see if I put it in a pocket or something, because I can't find it. The thing with the multi-tool that's great is that you can use this part here, which is probably one of the most important parts that is on the multi-tool, is so that you can cut spokes or like a derailleur cable or a brake cable if you have those still. That's really a tool that's not on most multi-tools from like for bike multi-tools, but really comes in handy in so many different ways. And also you can use it to, you know, cut zip ties, or if you had a, I don't know, you wanted to cut some other little piece of metal that's bent off of something like that. That part is very, very handy, as well as the needle nose pliers being able to bend something back. And then just has a multitude of other tools in it, and then also has this, you know, clamping wrench that you can use that's gonna just, you know, really come in handy if you're trying to crank down on something or pull that 550 cord or that zip tie super tight and then cut the end of it so it's not dragging across your hands or whatever. So having a multi-tool is really nice. So I definitely recommend that. So other than water, that's the whole bag. I don't ever carry anything other than water in my Camelbak, just because if you put some other kind of juice or Gatorade or something in there, it just funks the bladder up. If you're gonna do that, I would recommend that you buy a secondary bladder that you use for putting that stuff in there, because if you just keep water in there, you can be lazy like me and leave the water in it when you get back, and next time just add ice and roll out. So with that being said, it only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one.